I'm interviewing Irene Martino, who is the co-founder of StyleCon. Before StyleCon, she worked in the technology industry with sales and marketing at a company called Temco. Why did you start StyleCon?
About 5 years ago, I saw in the marketplace that there was a gap in um, a platform bringing social media to life. So I would see people buying things because influencers would tell them to buy something, and started seeing the power of what the influencers had on people's buying, their persuasion of buying habits. So I started this company with a friend of mine who's an attorney, and we didn't know anything about social media. We didn't know anything about um, really kind of the influencer market. So we just kind of took a deep dive and learned about influencers and learned about how they act with brands. And it's kind of been an evolution over the last few years. We've been doing these events around the country. We bring influencers, the general public, the beauty and fashion lovers, and the fashion and beauty and lifestyle brands together under one roof. And we make we're basically a platform to bring all these connectors together.
What makes StyleCon different than the other fashion and beauty cons?
Well, I think StyleCon, the reason why, every business evolves. So, your first event is going to be different than your second event, different than your third event. And we've been in it now 5 years. We've done 18 events. Um, some have been conventions over 2,500 people. Some have been single branded events where we've got 200 to 300 people. So, our brand really, we customize and tailor StyleCon events towards the customer that we're working with. So we don't see, there are definitely other events, empowerment type women entrepreneur events out there. But we see ourselves just a little bit different just because of the way we have our style stage. We're really focused on empowering women, and kind of that entrepreneurial spirit. So I think that kind of defines StyleCon, and we've come a long way. We've evolved to this place now, and I think we're in a very happy medium where we are.
Who does StyleCon target in terms of their customers?
Okay, so as I talked about evolution, initially we were targeting more the younger, early 20s girl. But we've really evolved now to focus on women empowerment and focus on entrepreneurs. In fact, we just did two shows in the last 2 weeks. One was in Dallas for about 300 people, and one was in Orange County. We had about 500 people. We looked at the average age of each show, and coincidentally, the average age was 34 years old for both shows.
I like your last one that I went to in Orange County. Like the first one I went to had a lot of Top Shop and
Right.
like younger, and I liked how this one was more. You got a little bit of both.
What was the first step in starting StyleCon?
Well, the first step is you have to have a good idea, but you have to narrow your idea. You have to keep focus on what you want your company to be.
Yeah, and then you were also telling me about the decks
Yes.
earlier. Is that who do you show those like present?
So we actually make quite a few. They're called, media decks or brand decks. It's basically kind of a summary of what you can present and offer to the brand, but it's all in like a PowerPoint type format.
Earlier, when you were talking about evolution, did you ever see it being where it is today when you first started?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to make StyleCon a national company. I didn't want to just do events in Orange County because then I've become very regional. The way a brand grows and develops is to really be national, to go throughout the United States. I mean, my goal is to take it internationally. We're not quite there yet, but we're not far from it.
Where do you see StyleCon going in the future?
I think in our future, we probably see ourselves going to Asia or Dubai. Those are two markets that have had a lot of interest in us. It's just whether or not we can partner with the right people in those markets. It's just a little challenging because of language barriers and cultures and customs, but I think we could probably do that.
And would you do like the same events that you would like in the other countries?
Yeah, I think we would do a very similar types of eventing, working with, again, the fashion and beauty brands and working with social media influencers.
How do you pair with the brands and influencers to come to StyleCon events?
So, brands come to us, we reach out to them. Really, though, we get a lot of inquiries. So on our website, there's a form that you can fill out if you're interested as a brand. So we get a lot of inquiries. We don't really go too much. I don't really cold call really anybody because we get so much inquiry. And the same with influencers. The influencers all come to us.
Who would be your dream panelist on one of the style stages?
So we actually had several dream panelists that we came up with. One was Michelle Obama. We think she's amazing. We also thought of Coco Chanel, even though she's not here anymore. So women like that are strong leaders, we would love to have as dream panelists.
What was your favorite memory or event with StyleCon?
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the highlights, I think, of StyleCon is when I met India Hicks. And India Hicks is actually one of the, hails from the royal family. Her father was David Hicks, who was, I think, a cousin of Queen Elizabeth. And she is a fascinating woman. She had an entrepreneur lifestyle company. She's an author, she's a model, she's just done so many things in her life. But things that she has said in her keynote kind of talk at StyleCon was so interesting. She said being in business can be lonely. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely. But you need to build a team around you and mentor somebody or mentor people. And she said when you mentor people and you build a good team around you, then, that's everything you need.
That seems like a really interesting person to
She's
talk to.
You should watch her on my website, on my video section. I have her speaking, and she's very, very interesting.
Lastly, what is your advice to people who want to be entrepreneurs?
If you go out and just do it and don't be afraid to do it, that would probably be my advice. And you know what? You learn so much along the way. I mean, I easily could have, not worked. I easily could have, just carried my life on as it was, the last five years ago. But I chose to do this, and I worked really, really hard, and I have something to show for it. I think I'm proud of myself because I built a company, and along with my partner, but we've built something, and we are a recognizable name now, and it all came from an idea.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be interviewed.
Well, you're welcome.